What's up guys, hope you're doing well. In this one I'll show you how to install custom mods for MX Bikes, and I'll go over some general rules of thumb to know when you download a mod and how to properly install them to their correct place. First thing you need to do before you start installing mods into the game, you need to go over to File Explorer, and then you need to go up to View, and then where it says file name extensions, you're going to make sure this is checkmarked. The file extension format thingy is pretty important, so you'll be able to distinguish what file is which. These zip folders, they have the zip, ends with .zip at the end, paints end with .pnt, RAR files end with .rar, and PKZs end with PKZ. The reason it's a RAR is because I recently opened a PKZ file with WinRAR, so that's the only reason why it looks like that. By default, it should look like just a piece of paper. Now, PKZ files, they are usually a model, or they can usually just be like a track. So for this example, this is flowvilla.pkz. So this particular kind for a track, you would put this, you go to documents, and then you go to Paboso, MX Bikes, mods, tracks, motocross, and then you click and drag and it goes into here. Sometimes you might get, if you download a track and it comes in the form of a zip, that usually means that the track comes as a folder with all of its contents in it. So whenever that happens, what you'll do is you have to install these tracks in a different location. So what you do is you go to File Explorer, you go to local disk, so program files, Steam, and then you go to Steam apps, common, Spikes, and if there is not a tracks folder in here, you're going to go ahead and make one, call it tracks. And if you didn't already have the tracks folder already, go ahead and make new folders, one for motocross and another for supercross. So you can go to motocross because this is a motocross track, and then you click and drag into here, and that's how you install in the game. I already have the tracks, so I don't have to install it again. So say for instance you download a mod from mxbmods.com, and say for instance you download a one of the factory bike packs, the Monster Energy Kawasaki bike packs. Now that's a bundle of bikes. That's usually going to come in the form of a zip folder or a RAR archive. And so whenever you get them in a one of those kinds of archives, when the folder or the archive, you're gonna open it, and you might find that when you open it, you get a folder that says mods. Whenever you see this, what you're gonna do is you're gonna click and drag the mods folder into your MX Bikes folder. Your MX Bikes folder is where the location of where most of your mods will be going, pretty much all of them. So let me just close this real quick. So if you were to go to start, go to documents, and then you go to Paboso, MX Bikes. Okay, this is the location of where your mods folder is, okay? So you can click and drag this here, and it'll just, it's just one and done installation. So everything that's in here goes into here, and it installs all the bikes to where it needs to be. And this can apply for other types of mods, like with rider gear. You might get a bundle of rider gear that has different colorways, or you might get gear that includes gloves and gear. So they'll go to the proper gloves locations and they'll go to the proper gear locations whenever you install it. Sometimes whenever you download a mod and it's either a zip or a RAR, this folder inside here might be named, it might be called Rider or Bikes instead. So whenever that happens, you just go into your mods folder here, okay? And so you see the Rider folder and you see the Bikes folder, and you just click and drag that into here, and boom. That's how you install a mod that's usually in a bundle. Sometimes you might get an archive that's just the paints. So what that means is that you have to go, dig in and manually put the paints where they belong, depending on the mod that you downloaded. So if you downloaded a bundle of Rider paints and it didn't have this kind of format, then your Rider gear would go to, MX Bikes, Mods, Riders, Default MX, Paints, and then they go in here. All right. And so for bikes, mods, bikes, and then you go to the particular bike, you go to the bike that it is, and then you go to paints, and then those paints will be going in here. And this is where PKZs can be kind of tricky whenever it comes to rider protections such as a neck brace, a helmet, or boots. So I'll show you what I mean. Whenever you go to the mods, and then you go to Rider, I'm gonna go to boots, for example. When you download a boot from the MX Bikes site, the MX Bikes mod site, you usually get a zip folder or a RAR archive, and inside you might get the PKZ, or it might just be just the PKZ. So if that's a boot, that's going to go inside here, inside boots. Now, something you need to keep in mind is that, for example, the T-Crane Instinct.pkz boot, when it's in here, it must have a folder that also has the same name. This applies for all boots, all helmets, all other protections. There has to be the PKZ, and then you have to make a folder if there isn't one already that has to have the exact same name so that this boot can communicate with this folder. So inside here, you get a paints folder, and this is where the paints for this particular boot model would go. And then I'll show you the same with the helmets. So you see down here, we got the Leatt 8.5 PKZ. And then right here, the 2021 Leatt 8.5 folder that corresponds to the same PKZ. And then paints. There will be another folder right here for goggles for the helmets, and those just go in here. There's no additional paints folder. It's just the paints for goggles for this particular helmet only go in here. And that applies with, neck braces and whatnot. Same thing. And that'll do it for this video. In the next one, I'll show you how to install other kinds of mods like model swaps, different bike and rider sounds and fonts, and more. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and more is on the way. Take care.